Have you seen those incredible pictures of the volcano erupting in La Palma? We've seen them on our television screens, haven't we? An amazing fireworks display in many respects, and yet devastating. That, along with the fires that took place in Australia and California, and earlier on when there was floods happening certainly in many parts of Europe, and then the heat wave that occurred, and then there was an earthquake in Japan. When I did some Google search, it said that there have been 101 natural disasters in 2021. That is not alongside that is alongside the pandemic. So it got me questioning, are we nearing the end? Is the world ending soon? Now, as followers of Christ, we should be expecting the return of Christ at any time. We should be in expectation of that. But without wishing to become a doomsday prophet or join that brigade as such, I wanted to explore a bit further if the imminent of the world's end is going to happen soon. So, where do we start? And I thought, well, the words of Jesus are probably a very good place to start. So in Matthew chapter 24 and then also in Mark chapter 13 is a discourse that Jesus is having with his disciples with the temple, the destruction of the temple, and also the ends of the time as Jesus begins to explain or share. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few of those phrases and just explore them in what's happening today and to see if the end of the world is actually very near. So let's start with this. And Jesus said this, "Many will come in my name, claiming that I am he, and will deceive many." Now, prophetic utterances is a facet of the fast-growing charismatic movement and so on. And sadly, the social media rewards the buzz and the sensationalism over wisdom. One of the downsides of the massive explosion of the social media platforms have been given opportunities to countless prophets to kind of wear their goods. And sadly, many, in my opinion, are lacking biblical orthodoxy. The most successful prophets can seemingly connect disparate pieces of data in a grand narrative, adding new layers of interpretation as events unfold. So yes, there are many false prophets, but here's the point. Jesus said this, many will be claiming to be the Messiah. As yet, not many are. Yes, there are some that we know of, but not many are. So for me, on this particular aspect, the jury is still out on that phrase of Jesus. Here's my appeal. To rather than getting carried away with the latest utterance of our favorite prophet, doomsday prophet, that is to say, why not develop your Christ-like character? Why not develop the fruits of the Spirit and the gifts of the Spirit to really enhance your understanding and to give you discernment and wisdom? So that was the first point. Verse 7, Jesus says this, "When you hear of wars and rumors of war, do not be alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation and kingdoms against kingdoms." Over the past decades, there have been a significant debate over whether long-term decline of war and conflict is actually happening. Examining the number of deaths since World War II, a number of scholars have concluded that war is actually indeed in decline. And yet the arms race and the arms industry is booming, isn't it? Maybe it's just getting ready for the ultimate wars that are going to be happening. There seems to be more wars. That is probably because almost any conflict now is beamed again into our living rooms. Throughout human history, wars have occurred. So is there an increase? Difficult to say. So for me, the jury is out regarding the end times when it comes to wars and rumors of wars. Jesus said this, "There will be earthquakes in various places and famines." The National Earthquake Information Center now locates about 20,000 earthquakes every year. That's 55 a day. Now, this is obviously a result of the massive explosion of the interest in natural events, and also the technological advances that we have of instruments that can measure all sorts of, even the minutest of earthquakes that are taking place. And they are much more quickly shown. So the public learns about earthquakes much more quickly than before. Now, according to long-term records, since about 1900 or so, we expect 16 major earthquakes in any given year, okay? 16. And some of them are shown to us on our television screen. And over that time, there have been, now that's the average, 16 is the average. So that means sometimes there'll be more, other times there'll be less. So is there an increase in earthquakes? I don't know. And then Jesus said, and famines. It is very clear that in recent decades, the presence of major life-giving famines has diminished significantly and abruptly compared to the earlier years. So on that statement that Jesus made, earthquakes and famines, for me, the jury is still out. And there's one more point that I would like to bring before I bring this to a conclusion. And that's in Matthew 24. Jesus said this, because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. In my opinion, there is certainly a significant increase in wickedness. Having just had my life saving stolen, or our lives saving stolen, maybe I have a vested interest in saying so. Yet again, the development of social media platforms, on balance, probably has had a detrimental effect on society rather than a positive effect. Maybe it's just indicating the human heart is quite evil from the beginning. The recent increase in pornography, engaging in promiscuous behavior and lifestyle, even amongst Christians, is rife. Real violent crime is now shown on social media platforms, which encourages others to copy and maybe even better the level of malevolence that comes through. Hate crime is on the increase. Cybercrime against individuals. Thieves steal our money, our identity, our dignity. It is so prevalent. We can't trust almost anything that's coming through the social media or even in any other forum. Fake news is so deceiving, and it abounds. So yes, in my opinion, wickedness is definitely on the increase, and the love of many is growing cold. So, I finish with this. Is the end nearing? Personally, I'm ambivalent about that statement. Yes, I'm looking forward to the return of the Lord, as we are encouraged to do, and we should all be doing that, eagerly waiting for his return. But I will not be drawn in by the doomsday prophets at the moment. What my appeal would be, like the Bereans, be wise, check out what's been said, to examine the things to see if that is true. Well, I hope this has helped you regarding the end times. And would you be kind enough to subscribe if you haven't done so, and pass on this video message if you find that this will be helpful to others to consider the whole question about end times and examining the statements that Jesus made. There are other scriptures that maybe we'll tackle at another time. So God bless you. Be discerning, be wise, and develop your character, the fruit and the gifts of the Spirit to give you discernment in the days to come. God bless you.